When you think of wine country, California isn't the only state on the list. Raise a glass to a state with more than 500 wineries, Oregon. Wine expert Rod Crawford is here to tell us why Oregon is a great place to start and actually to grow Pinot Noir.
Yeah, so, we thought it'd be fun to talk about opportunities for drinking wine outside of California, which, as you know, I think when we talk about wine country in the United States, I think people's minds often go straight to Napa and Sonoma. But Oregon has been growing a lot in popularity. In fact, sales were up 13% on Oregon wine last year, so it tells you that people are discovering this.
So you're really seeing a lot of the growth, and of course I was reading that they almost have 100,000 square acres that are planted for wines, but you were telling me they're actually all pretty small.
They are, and I think that's one of the really fascinating things about Oregon is by design they've kept the winery small. Most wineries there make less than 5,000 cases, so when you go out there and visit or try the wines, you really are finding more small artisan producers.
Okay, now let's look at the wine that's in front of us. Some of these are Pinot Noir, and then what's characteristic about the grape?
So Pinot Noir is the predominant wine grown in Oregon. Over 70% of the production is Pinot Noir. And what makes Pinot Noir special there is the climate. The climate is cooler. They have more hours of sunlight than Napa and Sonoma. So you get wines that are more elegant, and you get wines that are more in the red fruit spectrum, which is really great for Pinot Noir. That's what Pinot Noir lovers really look for. The wines from California are starting to become a little more black fruit, a little more jammy. So these are more elegant, a little lighter in flavor.
Okay, so if we also hold this up, you can see how red it is, and that truly is because they're getting all of the sunlight, because wine in Oregon can grow for a much longer time.
Right, so it's a longer growing season, and as you noted, the color of this wine is a little lighter than what you see from some California Pinot. So, you want to smell it?
Yeah, let's smell it.
You kind of get like that strawberry, Bing cherry, more red fruits, right?
You definitely get a fruity sense, and we should try it probably.
Yeah.
And that is wonderful. Now, also, why is Oregon such a great place to grow this grape?
It really comes down to climate again. Comes down to the longer day, but with the cooler weather, you get the longer growing season, which really, it's important because it helps the fruit develop complexity, develop elegance, develop just these beautiful depth of flavors that you get from Oregon Pinot.
Well, it is such a lovely wine. Now let's also talk about if we wanted to get a wine and maybe experience this Pinot Noir or Pinot Gris, what would you recommend?
So obviously that's the whole point, is hopefully people maybe will run into their wine shop this weekend and say, I'm gonna go check out the Oregon section rather than just going right to Napa and Sonoma. So I think a couple easy suggestions, wines that people will find easy to find: the Erath, Pinot Noir and Pinot Gris, and King Estate. They're probably two of the, even though most producers are small, these are two of the larger producers that have good distribution throughout the United States, and they're also pretty affordable. So you're going to be looking in the $20 price point, which is a good place for people to explore these wines.
Okay, so $20 price point. I think we can cheers to that. Rod,
cheers to that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.